1. Welcome to Whispering Archive. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We are racing through our Christmas stories for children, starting with today, A Turkey for One. Laura's Uncle Roy is in Japan. He used to take Christmas dinner at Laura's home. Now he could only write to her papa to say a box of gifts had been sent, and one was for his little girl. The little girl clapped her hands, crying, "Oh, Mamma, don't you think it is a chain and locket dear uncle said he would sometime give me?" "No," replied her papa, reading on, "Your uncle says it is a turkey for one." "But we do not need turkeys from Japan," remarked the little daughter soberly. Her papa smiled and handed the open letter to her mamma. "Read it aloud, every bit," begged Laura, seeing her mamma was smiling too. But her mamma folded the letter and said nothing. On Christmas Eve, the box which had just arrived was opened, and everyone in the house was made glad with a present. Laura's was a papier-mâché turkey, nearly as large as the one brought home at the same time by the market boy. Next morning, while the fowl in the kitchen was being roasted, Laura placed hers before a window and watched people admire it as they passed. All its imitation feathers, and even more, its red wattles, seemed to wish every man and woman, boy and girl, a Merry Christmas. Laura had not spoken of the jewelry since her uncle's letter was read. It was not nice for one who receives a gift to wish it was different. Laura was not that kind of child. When dinner was ready and nearly over, her papa said to her, "My dear, you have had as much of my turkey as you wanted. If you please, I will now try some of yours." "Mine is what Uncle Roy calls a turkey for one," laughed Laura. She turned in a chair towards where her bird had been strutting on the window-sill, and added in surprise, "Why, what has become of him?" At that moment the servant brought in a huge platter. When the room had been made for it on the table, it was set down in front of Laura's papa, and on the dish was a turkey. "Oh, what fun!" gaily exclaimed the child. "Did uncle tell you to pretend to serve it?" "I have not finished what he directs me to do," her papa said, with a flourish of the carving knife. "But, papa, please," her hand was on his arm, "you would not spoil my beautiful bird from Japan." Eden Spring was touched with the point of the knife. The breast opened and disclosed a fowl filled with choice toys and other things. The first taken out was a tiny box. Inside was a gold chain and locket. The locket held Uncle Roy's picture. It was a turkey for one, for only Uncle Roy's niece, but all the family shared the amusement. By Lavinia S. Goodwin. Little Christmas Carolers. We are a band of carolers, we march through frost and snow, but care not for the weather as on our way we go. At every hall or cottage that stands upon our way, we stop to give the people best wishes for the day. We pray a Merry Christmas made bright by Christmas cheer, with peace and hope and gladness, and all they may hold dear. And for all those that happen to pass us on our way, we have a smile and wish them a Merry Christmas Day. By L.A. France. What happened Christmas Eve? It was Christmas Eve, and the Frost Fairies were busy getting ready for Christmas Day. First of all, they spread the loveliest white snow carpet over the rough bare ground. Then they hung the bushes and trees with icicles that flashed like diamonds in the moonlight. Later on, they planned to draw beautiful frost pictures on the window panes to surprise the little children in the morning. The stars shone brightly and the moon sent floods of light in every nook and corner. How could anyone think of sleeping when there was such glory outside? Jessie and Fred had gone to bed very early so they might be the first to shout "Merry Christmas," but their eyes would not stay shut. "Oh dear, it must be most morning," said Fred. "Let us creep softly downstairs and maybe we'll catch Santa Claus before he rides off." Hand in hand, they tiptoed to the dining room and peeped out the big window. Surely that was something climbing up the roof of Cousin Nellie's house. It must be old Santa. Fred gave a chuckle of delight. To be sure, the reindeer were very queer-looking objects, and the sleigh such a funny shape, but the children were satisfied. The old fir tree, whose high branches almost touched the roof, knew all about those shadows, but it was so old no one could ever understand a word of the many tales it told. There's something scratching on the door. Whispered Jessie, but it was only a mouse who had sniffed the delightful odors of Christmas goodies and was trying his best to find a way into the pantry and test them with his sharp teeth. "Come," said Jessie, "we'll turn to the icicles if we stay here much longer." So upstairs they quickly scampered. Papa had been to town on an errand, so it was quite late when he came home. As he was hunting in his pockets for his key, he heard a pitiful cry, and looking down he saw a big white cat carrying a tiny kitten in her mouth. "Poor thing," said Papa, "you shall come inside till the morning." Santa Claus had been there with the nicest wagon for Fred and a warm sealskin cap that lay right in the middle of it. When Papa left the room, Puss and her kitty were curled up comfortably on the rug, singing their sleepy song. The sun was shining brightly in the dining room window when Jessie and Fred made their appearance. Then Fred just laughed with delight, for right in the crown of his new cap lay the cutest white kitten with big blue eyes and a wee pink nose, while stand-ins close by, as if to guard her darling from danger, was good old Mother Puss. "I never had a live Christmas present before," said Fred. "Now I know Santa Claus read the letter I threw up the chimney, because I told him to bring me a kitten, and here it is." Papa smiled and looked at Mamma, and then everybody said "Merry Christmas" at once. By Oliver Herfold. Susie's Christmas Present. "Tell us a story, Nursey, please do," begged two little golden-haired girls as they snuggled on the soft rug beside the fire. "Did you ever have just what you wished for at Christmas when you were a little girl?" "Yes, I did once. I was the oldest and had 2 brothers and 3 little sisters. We did not have a beautiful home like this. We lived in a little cottage. It was pretty, though, in the summertime, when the roses and pinks were in bloom. My father was dead, and Mother worked for the rich people around the village. There was plenty to do about holiday times. It was the day before Christmas. Mother was at the house of a very rich and kind lady. She was going to have a grand party in the evening. Mother told me, when she went away, to mind the children, and perhaps I might have a nice Christmas present. I knew we should have plenty of candy and cake, and other nice things from Mrs. Reed's. We often had pretty clothes, too, that Mamie and Robbie Reed had outgrown. I had been wishing for a muff, but I knew Mother could not afford to buy me one. It was hard enough even to get shoes for us all. I thought I should have to be satisfied with mittens. It was quite dark, and we all sat around the fire. I had rocked Tilly to sleep and put her to bed. Willie and Joe were playing cat's cradle. The rest of us were making believe we were rich and could have all we wanted for Christmas. All at once, there was a heavy step on the porch, and a knock on the door. I opened it, with Margie and Amy clinging to my dress. The boy shoved a big box into the room and shouted, "A Merry Christmas to you." He then ran out at the gate. The box had all our names on the cover, and the children were wild to see what was inside. "Wait till Mother comes," I said, and pretty soon we heard her at the gate. She seemed surprised and said Santa Claus had remembered us early. Mother advised us to go to bed and wait until morning to see our presents. It was pretty hard, but we had some oranges and candy, and I put the boys to bed. Margie and I wondered and guessed what was in the box, but at last we fell asleep. You may be sure we were up early in the morning. There were dolls and toys for the little ones with hoods and mittens, and for me a lovely squirrel muff lined with blue, with a little soft boa for my neck. I was a happy little girl that Christmas, I can tell you. And now, my dears, you must go to bed, or Santa Claus will not be able to find your stockings. "Oh, I hope I shall have what I want tomorrow," said Gracie. "And I too," echoed Helen. "And your story was very nice, Nursey. Good night, and call us early in the morning."